Well, we're home now, and Amy and I were going to relax, but instead decided that we're going to go to win back and look at babies with clients. It's a bit of a relaxation because the kids are with babysitters, so we're going to take the time to head down to, where is it, Inglewood? I think it's at Inglewood on the maps. I thought it was Caledon. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Windback Farms. We got a 2 o'clock appointment. We're going to be there at about 10 after 2. That might have had something to do with that. But we had to go to the barn today. I wanted to follow up with a couple of babies. If you guys look down further on your lists, you'll see that there's a number of videos from babies being broke yesterday. I did an entire section about the babies, what I liked about them. There wasn't really a whole lot to report, to be honest. Usually every year, if we break 10, 2 of them are going to wreck something, like throw themselves or kick a little bit or act up. No, I'd say the extra work that Amy and Donnie did with the babies all week definitely paid off, because they were perfect gentlemen and ladies yesterday. Went with Optum. She needs to work a little bit on her turning, but on the track she was very, very good. And then Amy thought we should go with Voyage of Ice and Fire, but to be frank, I don't think I've ever seen a horse act as good on the track as Voyage of Ice and Fire. Sometimes at our farm you'll notice they'll go up the hill, so they'll balk sometimes on the hill, right? It's an incline, and if I'm on the jog cart, because I'm such a slob, big fat guy now, they'll balk a little bit. So, no, all jokes aside though, even if you have anybody on the back, even little Mario, they'll sometimes balk going up the hill. So you gotta walk along with them. You'll notice in the videos we did yesterday, we hooked them at the top of the ramp. Well, today we didn't. The 2 we went with, Optum was balking a little bit yesterday. Well, paint job. Optum was balking a little bit yesterday, so we went up the longer chute, the exit, if you will. But Voyage of Ice and Fire, wow. Just turned him at the ramp. He walked up the ramp with his ears up, trotted off, 3 laps, turned perfectly by himself, and walked back to the barn. You couldn't ask a horse to act any better than Voyage of Ice and Fire did. He was very good. So we were going to go with others. A couple of them had some snot in their nose, and it's September. It's not really the end of the world. So I said to Amy, just leave them be. There really wasn't any concerns yesterday that I saw heading into today. So I really wasn't that worried. We're just trying to get them broke, get some eyes on them. I want to make sure they look all right, that there's no issues, and I was very happy with what I saw. You're in the Indy 500, or we in Big Bird? Oh, you're so annoyed. What are you annoyed at, honey? People drive slow. I see. I think this is kind of where they get Sunday driver from. It's Sunday and people are driving. I see. No, I'm doing my videos. Here in the safety of this seat, or what I thought was safety. We had a great week this week. Last week was so-so. Then I get Sunday was an abomination. Delaware, I got roughed up pretty good. So did the Gray Filly. It was just a bad day. Monday, I drove what seemed like an endless line of horses between the meadows and Northfield. Now our horses raced good. We had a couple of seconds. Both were favorites though, but both raced very, very well. I was happy with both of them. But Monday was a bit of was okay. But by the end of the night, I remembered what driving horses full time was like, and what I didn't like about it. I'd said this before, when you end up with a lot of drives, they're picked over horses, and I'd never tell anybody, no, I don't want to drive your horse, I'm happy to, but something I didn't miss about driving horses was driving long shots, I can tell you that. Tuesday was tough. Tuesday was a tough day at Delaware again. I was beginning to have a little disdain towards Delaware. I made mistakes on the track, and the horses weren't as good as I hoped, and Delaware is the epitome of half-mile track racing. You go to some of the other half-mile tracks, it's tight, it's chippy, but in Delaware with no passing lane, it's extra tough. And I get taken to school a couple of times at Delaware, Sunday and Tuesday. That was not going to be happening on Wednesday. I knew I had a little bit of an issue with I'm a Lovely Lady. There's a horse inside of us that had already get stuck in our way once this year. It wasn't an easy way to avoid it. I couldn't take her right off the gate and get away 5th on a half-mile track from the 2-hole. He wasn't quite on the gate with the one horse, and I was hoping maybe he put a step in going into the turn, he'd have to release me. That didn't happen. The Ozma just blasted around the turn like she was on a rail, and I was in behind her. And, you know, I'd said this in another video, I kind of blame myself for her getting beat, because if it had been a typical day where I wasn't coming in off some fairly open wounds from Delaware in previous days, I might have popped her into the 2-hole at the 5/8, and I didn't. She finished second, luckily. Had I moved her, I think she's in the winner's circle. So I was okay. I said, you know what, it's a second. I'm a Lovely Lady, raced great, closing hard, 57. Moreover than not, I didn't want to find out she was tired in that manner, right? I guess that, in my defense, that was the argument, was that I didn't want to find out that the filly had a long ear and she was tired, and I just made her more tired by coming out of the 2-hole, especially since we got a $75,000 race left with her. So I stayed in the 2-hole. She was closing hard in the end of it, 57 and 2, 28 and a piece on the end of it, and looked very, very good doing it. Looked very, very good doing it. And then My Jazz come out on the track. Now, pick up the program. 2 best horses in the division are in there. Now, they leave outside of me, but they're in there. The Mary filly, Marianne, probably the best horse in the division. The little filly of Virgil's isn't eligible. She's not there. And then you get Celebrate With Me on the far outside. She's as good as anybody in the division. The 2 highest money earners in the division, actually, I think counting My Jazz, probably the 3 highest money earners in the division are in there. Halfway down the stretch, I want to get out of there with My Jazz. So I'm picking at her, and I made a chirp to her, maybe roared to her halfway down the stretch. Marianne makes a break. Ouch. I was happy at the time. I felt bad a little bit. I guess somewhere, some small portion of my being inside me, deep down, felt bad for Chris and the connections of Marianne, but at the same time, I'm here to make money for us. It was definitely a help. Crossed over to the front. I looked over my shoulder getting out of there. I knew, 1, I was getting to the front, and 2, Celebrate With Me wasn't getting away. Celebrate With You or me? I don't know her name. She wasn't getting away near. She was getting away 4th at the closest, maybe 5th. So I let My Jazz float over to the quarter, and then coming to the half, she felt good, but she was really green at Delaware. She was looking at the cameraman, she was looking at the tote board, the people in the judges stand. She was looking at everything, and I could hear Roger Houston announce it starting up was Celebrate With Me. I look over my shoulder, I see her coming, and I put her in gear, and the rest is history. She had me headed into the last turn. I kicked the earplugs on My Jazz, and she took off and was a very, very good winner. 1, because she won the Ohio Breeders' Championship and looked great doing it. 2, more importantly, she ended a drought over 2 years in Delaware. I'd never won a race at the Delaware County Fairgrounds. To do it on Jug Day was pretty special, and it felt great. Certainly erased the dismay of getting beat with I'm a Lovely Lady and the rough trips we had all week. And it felt great. So it was good to see My Jazz win. Jason's done an incredible job with her all summer long. She's had a great season. I'm a Lovely Lady was great. You know, that afternoon on my way back to Pennsylvania, I got to watch Jazzy Judy win her first lifetime start in 2-6 over Harrington. Now Harrington's no Delaware, and it's no Northfield Park. A little flatter, a little slower. And she had her wrinkles in her, but you could see the training she had into her really paid off. Nothing bothered her. There was breakers around her, and you know, she got out of gear a couple of times. Victor Kirby did a great job keeping her together, and Jazzy Judy fought hard for the win, regardless if it was 2-6, 2-16, or 56. She fought hard and got to the winner's circle. Number 1 rule, I had 4 people messaging me this after. What's the number 1 rule of driving trotters? Keep them trotting. And Victor Kirby definitely kept her trotting, and she did the rest. She raced great. Earlier in the week, to watch Globetrotting, you know, dismantle that crew of aged horses was pretty cool, especially since I told Dave she maybe wasn't on the top of her game. I guess he was calling my bluff, because he definitely put her to work on Tuesday, and she looked good. That's My Girl, looked incredible. I saw Dave in Delaware the next day. He said, man, oh man, that 2-year-old filly's nice, eh? And I said, yeah, you know, she had her struggles in the summer, but I'm really glad that she's back good now. He said, you know, she trot 57 easy right now. So she's got her last stake race in Indiana. We are going to take her. I'm not going to be there to drive her. We'll probably list, I don't know, Trace has got some horses in there. Whoever's available. We have a connection with Brandon Bates. Maybe Brandon will be available to drive the filly, but you know, I don't think she can trot 55 right now, but I think she can give anybody a rattle in that division. She ends up with a decent check. I think she makes a consolation for $25,000, and if she happens to go out and win, probably unlikely, but if she does, she'd probably find her way into the final. Either one is fine with me. So that's my girl. Race great this week. She's got stake race, final, or consolation, and maybe one in between. So 2 or 3 races left for her. No free lunch since we got his curb crowd. Raced very, very good this week. Came from another universe to be third, 26 seconds on the 26 and 4 on the end of it, but clearly looked like the horse to beat. He's back in to go this week. He's got a gold coming up at Flamborough, and then we'll see where the year takes him after that. He missed most of the summer, either due to sickness, and then we had that curb crowd. So coming off his last line, I'd say he's still fairly fresh and sharp. So we'll see what we do with no free lunch. Tipsy and Dixie raced well at Flamborough when they had the races canceled. They moved them to Saturday. She finished second last week, did she?
Yep.
Second in 2 minutes. She looked really good. I'd like to say she looked really good. I didn't actually see the race, but it seemed like the line was there, and Johnny was there with her and said she raced very well. First Glance was a winner on the weekend, 55 and 3 again. I'd said to Mario, it doesn't matter where you go, as long as you get him in where you can win. And as long as we have classes to race him in for a little bit, we'll race him. So First Glance was a good win. It was nice to see him make front. I saw the charted line, 6th right to the front, 27 and 4, bottled up on the inside, closed hard on the end of it to win in 55. That's what good horses do when they win races. So good job by Mario to get him to the winner's circle. Some big news out of Ohio for us still. GW Chrome. I told you guys he was very, very lame all summer. He had hurt himself in the stall, and we really didn't know what was going on. It was so perplexing that we actually had him x-rayed on 3 different occasions to see if the vet could find anything. Nothing was found, and then as quickly as he got lame, he got sound. And still don't know what it is. I guess now that I say it out loud, the way it presents to me would have been maybe he bruised himself or hurt himself up high, a ligament inside up high near his back or in his hip area. Sometimes they just need some time to relax and cool down, and they'll come back. That's exactly what he did. So we don't know what it was for sure, but it was there, and now it's gone. GW Chrome schooled the other day for Jason at 2-3, last half at 58-4. Jason said he was very, very good. So he'll qualify Thursday. Now I have to go to the Meadows. I just asked Jason to qualify him. He schooled him the other day and said he was 2 fingers. So that's great. Braymar's got a stake coming up also this week in Philadelphia. The end of next week on the 9th. Now, I had trained a couple of horses for Tim that he had bought on gate off Casey. They both trained very, very good. I rather like the Twin B Edge horse, but I hadn't told Tim yet. I can't be there for the 9th. I thought I could catch a flight in the morning out of Lexington to Philly and be back by night, which theoretically I should be able to. It just didn't work out that way. I couldn't find a flight. Maybe one will pop up. I'm not sure. It's up here further. Iglair AM will be racing her first time out of Canada at the Meadows on Wednesday. I trained her in 59 on Friday before I left. I thought she looked really, really good. James and Johnny have done a great job with this filly. Here's a filly that tied up really bad. Then she got sick. They got her squared away and put back on track. And, I pushed James pretty hard to race her hard her first start, and he did. She wasn't as good on the front end, so we're going to race her. Well, she'll be probably close to the front anyway in that maiden on Wednesday. But I was pretty happy with the way she trained the other day, and very happy with the recovery of the season made by Johnny and James with Iglair AM. Harness AM, her older sister, took the hobbles off her. She struck a wheel and made a break her first start, and then last week came first over, which she definitely was not ever known for. Came first over and was a winner in 157, I think. 158, 157 in the bit. At the Meadows, she's back in to go. Tony Hull is back down to drive her on Wednesday. I know it bothers Tim when I tell him just to list these guys, but Tony won with her last week. It's pretty hard for me to say, hey, no, I'll drive her. No, Tony can drive her. So Dave Pallone is driving Globetrotting this week on Tuesday, and Tony Hall is driving Harness AM. So a big week last week, a big week coming up again this week. Some stakes towards the end of the week. One in Indiana on the 6th. The other one on the 9th. I guess I'm getting ahead of myself. It's not the 6th and 9th this week. It's next week. So I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. On the 6th in Indiana for That's My Girl. On the 9th in Philadelphia for Braemar. Braemar will be entered in a race Friday at the Meadows. That would be 1 week out, I believe, from Philadelphia. Also, as I said, all the babies were broke this week. Yesterday, Amy and I and Donnie did all the babies. I went with them all yesterday. They were very, very good. Steve just asked for an ETA. I'll text him in a bit. I thought all the babies were really, really good. I was very, very happy with them. Went back today with 2 more. They were very good again. And then big news, big updates. If you watched the yearling portion of our videos this week, you'll know that I bought 2 horses yesterday. I bought 2 Trixtons. I bought a Trixton Colt out of a sister to Donato Hanover, and I bought a Trixton filly who is a full sister to a horse that somebody had called me on the phone. Blair Burgess had called me on the phone and said, listen, the full sister to this filly is a twin of her. I trained her at 2. She was a very, very, very nice filly. She got injured, and what she did in her life is not reflective of how good she was. He said she was a legit, very good filly, and you'd be doing yourself a service to buy this filly. He said he looked at the videos over and over and over again. He was thinking of buying her, decided that the timing right before Lexington maybe wasn't the best for him, so he was going to pass, something we didn't have to do, so we didn't. So we bought them both. One is named Duke Dio from Dio Valente Farms, same as Spirit of Dio, and the other one is named Blue Bayou Dio, same consignment, Dio Valente Farms. So we were very happy to get both these horses. I will be taking those two horses to Northfield with Jason. I'll break them there, make some videos for you guys, and then when we pull our tent pegs and head back to Canada after October 17th, both the Dios will be coming with us. So a very good day yesterday, both in breaking the babies. We acquired 2 more babies. That's 13 on the season so far. We're looking forward to building that, and that's a perfect segue into the last part of our opening, which is Lexington. I can't tell you how grateful I am. A lot of people have reached out to us to say, hey, we'd like to buy some babies at Lexington. This is what we're looking to put in, or this is what we're looking for. If you had hips of horses you wanted me to look at, I'd be happy to. I'm going down to Lexington, much like I did Ohio, 2 days before the sale. I'm going to look at every single horse that I feel the need to look at, and any other ones also. I'm going to be doing a ton of videos for those horses, and I'll be sending them out to you guys the day before. So again, we'll have forms this year. I'll start building some of those forms out the mid part of this week, coming out towards the end of the week. Kelly will have them up for you as we put videos up for horses. As I tell you that I'm interested in any particular horse, we'll add that horse to the form also. You guys did such a great job keeping me informed when it came to what you were looking for and what horses we were actually going to be bidding on because of the feedback I got from you. I think it's in a very smart way and long overdue way to find interest in the horses we're looking for, and especially this year because of the difficulties surrounding. And now it seems like there's lots of money out there to buy yearlings, but I'm not going to be presumptuous when it comes. I said this over and over again. I'm not being presumptuous when it comes to what our clients can and cannot do. I'm going to be as conservative and as frugal as I can this year, which is exactly why I bought those 2 Dios yesterday. One was $9,600, the other one was $8,400. Anytime you can buy well-bred, affordable horses, it's always a good thing to do, I think, in this industry. And yes, theoretically they'd have to race against Walners and Muscle Hills, but at the same time, a good horse is a good horse, and we're always looking for those. So thank you again. Leading up to Ohio, we're going to do the same thing for Lexington. If you want to open a dialogue with any horses you have, a number of clients have already, I'd be very, very happy to talk to you about them. There's a long list of horses to look at right now. And as I find horses I like, which there probably won't be a shortage of those in Lexington, I'll be making videos and sending them out to you. So that is the opening. We did have a great week at the track last week. It was a little dull, a little flat the week before. I know that they're never always going to be good. You know, you look at Kevin's barn right now, it's kind of in the middle of having horses. We had to race So Admirable. We made a decision to give her some time off. let her grow up and bring her back in the winter. Cruising in Styles just seems to be addicted to drawing the 9-hole. It doesn't make things very easy. Time Houdini drew the 8-hole this week. But, you know, when you have these weeks where the horses draw bad, there's going to be weeks when they draw good. And I'm sure they'll be back swinging next week. So, that is it. That's the opening. I'll be back in a minute as I'm on our way to Winback Farms. I'll talk about all the stables, all the horses, all the 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds. Be back in just a minute.